Let's jump right into this. We are breaking down Shakespeare's Julius Caesar, cutting straight through all the noise to give you exactly what you need. Whether you're gearing up for your ICSE exams or just want to truly master the mechanics, characters, and themes of this iconic historical tragedy, you are absolutely in the right place. So let's get into it.
Okay, we have to start by establishing the massive, tearing tension at the heart of ancient Rome. It's the ultimate balancing act, right? On one hand, you've got this desperate drive to preserve the Republic, fueled by fierce patriotism. But pulling against that is the looming, terrifying threat of dictatorship, all tangled up in complex webs of personal loyalty. Literally every single conflict in this story stems from this one fundamental clash. Do you stay loyal to a powerful friend, or do you commit the ultimate betrayal for the love of your country?
Section 1. Key Players of Rome. The Anatomy of Ambition.
To really understand how this tragedy explodes, we've got to look at the deeply flawed figures driving the chaos. These aren't just characters, they're colliding forces of nature. Take Julius Caesar. He's this incredibly powerful, ambitious Roman leader. But his fatal flaw? He totally ignores warnings. He just refuses to listen, and it literally gets him killed. Then there's Brutus. Noble, patriotic Brutus. He loves Rome more than anything, but he's completely blinded by his own idealism and, frankly, terrible judgment. And you pair that with Cassius, who is brilliant but highly manipulative, driven entirely by this toxic, eating jealousy of Caesar's power. Finally, Mark Antony. He's Caesar's fiercely loyal friend, but more importantly, he has the immense political skill and intelligence to just entirely shift public opinion.
Let's zoom in on Brutus for a second, because his journey is just the perfect chronological descent of a tragic hero. He starts off in this place of pure noble idealism, right? He's highly respected across Rome. But then he gets targeted. A jealous Cassius preys on that exact sense of duty, manipulating him perfectly. This pushes Brutus to make these catastrophic, tragic mistakes, ultimately betraying his closest friend, Caesar, because he's convinced the murder is necessary for Rome. And of course, that inevitably leads to his complete downfall in death. He's basically a man entirely trapped between friendship and public duty.
Section 2. Omens, Betrayal, and Power. The Aesthetics of Disorder. Shakespeare doesn't just tell us Rome is falling apart, he shows us. The visual of blood literally stains this entire play. It's the most visceral, in-your-face symbol he uses, directly representing the inescapable violence of the conspiracy and that ultimate, brutal betrayal of a leader by his closest allies.
Then you've got the environment itself just completely reacting. Unnatural storms and terrifying omens flash across the narrative. And look, these aren't just there for a spooky vibe. They signal this profound cosmic disorder. They represent the massive danger brewing in the political landscape and pose this huge question about fate versus free will. Are these prophecies absolutely guaranteed, or can these characters actually change their terrifying future?
And that brings us to Caesar's ghost. When this spirit shows up, it brilliantly symbolizes the crushing, unbearable guilt that's just haunting the conspirators. It acts as a physical reminder of inescapable fate, basically proving that, sure, Caesar's physical body might be gone, but his immense power and the horrific consequences of betraying him, those are very, very much alive.
Section 3. The Power of Persuasion. Words as Weapons.
Moving beyond the symbols, the true weapons wielded in this play aren't actually daggers, they're masterful political rhetoric. It all begins with that iconic, totally ignored warning. Beware the Ides of March. This perfectly highlights Caesar's blinding pride and ambition. He just brushes it off with this fatal belief that, as he says, cowards die many times before their deaths. His overconfidence creates this terrifying dramatic irony for us as the audience because, we know exactly what's waiting for him.
At 2, Brute. Really think about the sheer shock of that moment. You have this powerful leader literally bleeding out, suddenly realizing that his closest, most trusted friend has stabbed him in the back. It is the absolute, devastating distillation of the play's theme of betrayal.
And then comes the aftermath. Friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your ears. This is the ultimate showcase of Mark Antony's manipulative genius. Using just a single funeral speech, he manages to completely hijack the narrative. He shows us the unbelievable power of language, instantly flipping public opinion against the conspirators and sparking absolute fiery chaos in the streets of Rome.
Section 4. Mastering the ICSE exam, Strategic Execution.
All right, let's pivot and translate all these aesthetic themes into a direct, actionable strategy for your exam. If you want to maximize your score, these are your absolute highest yield target areas.
The examiners love to test your understanding of Brutus as a tragic hero, and of course, the masterful rhetoric of Antony's funeral speech. You need to be deeply familiar with the role of fate and omens, that overarching theme of betrayal, and the exact character sketch of the manipulative Cassius. But above all, you have to lock into your memory that central conflict, public duty versus personal loyalty, and exactly how political manipulation drives the entire plot forward.
So, the crucial takeaway here is that when you sit down to write your answers, you've got to hit 4 specific analytical beats every single time. First, clearly establish the context of the scene. Second, drop in a brief, highly relevant quotation to back up your point. Third, provide your own sharp explanation. And fourth, tie it explicitly back to theme relevance. Constantly connect the characters back to those core themes we've been talking about. And remember to focus heavily on Shakespeare's use of literary devices, things like dramatic irony, symbolism, rhetoric, and imagery. Hit those beats and you are golden.
So, look at all the evidence we've just laid out. We've seen the blinding ambition, the terrifying omens, the bloody betrayal, and the constantly shifting loyalties. I want to leave you with this ultimate question to ponder as you study.